So I'm going to start out with basically static scenery. Just here's something you can look at. It looks very nice. Move on to animated scenery so that you have something that can move in the background, something that might be really decorative or like a clock or something like that. And finally move on to sound scenery, which is invisible scenery basically that you can't collide with and can't hit or whatever, but it emits sounds. So you can have weird, creepy, crawly bug sounds in your cave if they enter a certain area, stuff like that. One amazing part about working with scenery is that it doesn't have to deal with the rules that we had to deal with in making a level. So in making a level, you realize that, for one, our standard box map, we know it's an editable mesh that you take all of the normals and flip them and you backface cull, and that's our standard box map, right? Well, for scenery, the equivalent would be, well, just a box. These boxes have their normals facing the opposite direction as the map, so it's actually much easier to imagine what it'll look like, because instead of acting as if you're inside the level when you were modeling levels, you can kind of just look at this and say, oh, well, this is a box, and when it renders in my map, it'll look like this. Another rule it doesn't have to follow is that usually in the past we've built our maps in one solid piece. So something like this would be unacceptable, at least with what we've dealt with so far. With scenery, what I'm going to show you is that from the start, we're going to easily make two parts to one scenery, and it's not going to really require that much more effort. In fact, two-part scenery can look really nice, especially when you start animating it, and it's the foundation of how you create stuff like doors, where parts of the door will slide apart. And finally, there's a way to simplify the collision model such that if you make a very complicated looking scenery, you don't have to deal with that really complex object when it comes to bullets bouncing off of it or the way it hits walls in your map and things like that. Instead, you can simplify that down and save tons of time. If you make a complicated map, on the other hand, what you saw in the last lesson was we had to fix all the errors. It had to be completely sealed, and a slight change in decoration could cause a huge amount of errors that you have to really look out for. For scenery, it's a lot more forgiving if you do it the right way, which is what I'm about to show you.